And we now have a statement by the Ministry of External Affairs on Bilawal Bhutto's comments at the United Nations Security Council. MEA, in fact, has hit out at Bilawal Bhutto's remarks against Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and they have gone on to call the comments as a new low even by Pakistan standards. In fact, they go on to claim that Pakistan can't cast aspersions at the mother of democracy, that is India. They further also say that Pakistan Foreign Minister and his comments were an uncivilized outburst. Taking this across to my colleague Abhishek Jha, who's on the broadcast with us. Abhishek, very, very strongly worded statement there by the Ministry of External Affairs.
Of course, and it has also tried to expose Pakistan's long connection with terrorism. We know that if we talk about major countries around the world, Mumbai, London, New York, every country has felt the brunt of terrorism sponsored by Pakistan or somebody who has been sheltered in Pakistan. Talking about UN sanctions, about 126 UN designated terrorists have been living in Pakistan. About 27 UN designated terrorist organizations are flourishing in Pakistan. So
Yes.
If you talk about the credentials of Pakistan, there is no doubt Pakistan has been hands in gloves with multiple terrorist organizations for a very long time. And at a UN counter-terrorism organization, when Bilawal Bhutto tries to cover up his acts of his country and tries to distract the audience by bringing the name of Prime Minister Modi or other issues, it's clearly a thing that maybe Pakistan is unable to handle, and that is why they are trying to distract the world to other issues. If you talk about human rights violation, we have seen the state-sponsored and army-sponsored genocide of 1971 in Bangladesh, where thousands of minorities were killed, thousands were raped, women were raped and orphaned. And these are all documented incidents. They are not somebody talking in the air. So when Pakistan talks about other people or other country sponsoring terrorism, they should look inwards and they should introspect why now they are being labeled as a country who is sheltering and harboring terrorists from the world.
Absolutely. And Abhishek, this statement, of course, has come out even as there are very, very strong protests on ground that are currently happening outside the Pakistan High Commission in the national capital. And this, of course, is the political leaders, in this case, the BJP, also upping the ante, considering many have actually gone on record and said how this was a very, very pedestrian way of putting things when it comes to the United Nations Security Council by Bilawal Bhutto.
Of course, the uncivilized outburst that we have heard from Bilawal Bhutto was literally unbecoming of a foreign minister of a country who is part of United Nations. But at the same time, the outburst or the outrage that we are seeing in India when various political party leaders are protesting, they have been protesting in front of Pakistan embassy in Delhi, was something bound to happen because now when Pakistan is trying to deflect the issue, it's trying to target individual like Prime Minister Modi, who is well respected around the world. India is going to host G20 summit, SCO summit next year. So India's diplomatic structure is not waiting for Pakistan's credential to be approved of. And with this kind of commentary that Bilawal Bhutto has made, he himself belittled his stature or his stature of his country.
All right, Abhishek, thank you so much for joining us. In fact, taking this across to Pathikrit Payne, security analyst, who's also joining us on the broadcast. Pathikrit, would need your reaction on this statement that's now come out by the Ministry of External Affairs. Also something which was pretty much expected. However, the kind of the scathing critique that the MEA has come out with against Bilawal Bhutto, I'm sure he had it calling because of the statements that he'd made. And while they have put out that statement, they also actually go ahead and question Pakistan's role in terrorism, which constantly remains under scanner.
Good evening. First of all, there are countries who have differences and they actually speak on different language. United.
I think there's some problem with the link of Pathikrit Payne. We'll try and re-establish that connection along with him. However, let me actually read out that statement by the Ministry of External Affairs once again. That they are going on to claim that this is a new low even by Pakistan's standard, and how their own ways towards the minorities in their country is something which is very, very questionable. I'm told Pathikrit Payne is back with us on the broadcast. Yes, Pathikrit, please make the point.
Yeah, so I'm stating that this kind of gutter level language can only come from Pakistan. I think Bilawal Bhutto must realize that his grandfather and his mother were both killed by the deep state of Pakistan, the same very deep state which actually harbors and nurtures and incubates terrorists. So I think he's trying his best to save his own skin within his own country. I think the history of Pakistan in terms of what they have done, in terms of abating terrorism in Kashmir, in Punjab, is for all to see the kind of devastation they have done. They have done within.
There's some problem with Pathikrit's link. We'll try and get him on the phone if the video continues to see that problem. However, this is what we are discussing. A statement that's come out by the Ministry of External Affairs, where they have put out in very, very strong terms their reaction to what Bilawal Bhutto Zardari commented about the Indian Prime Minister on the UNSC stage, where these statements have not gone down well with India for rightful reasons. They have gone on to claim that this was a new low by Pakistan, even by Pakistan's standards. And they also further go on to say that Pakistan cannot cast its aspersions at the mother of democracy, which is India. They further go on to say that Pakistan's foreign minister was very, very uncivilized in his outburst. They further also claim as to how Pakistan has not changed its way towards the minorities in its own countries, and then also goes on to question, the statement goes on to question Pakistan's role in terrorism that till date remains under scanner. They also claim that Pakistan is the one country that has glorified Osama bin Laden and how it needs to change its mindset or remain pariah. So this is a strongly worded statement by the Ministry of External Affairs. Of course, this has come after the lashing out of Bilawal Bhutto at UNSC, commenting about the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and going personal with his attack. And this, of course, is because he was not able to take the critique that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar offered against Pakistan, talking about how the country has always been known to breed terrorism and how it is a breeding ground for just the same, and how it needs to look at its own backyard, and also mentioned about the fact that if you breed snakes in your backyard, it's not always that they will be biting the neighbors, they will come down to biting you as well. So those were the statements